if you want to learn how to make this incredibly delicious vanilla cake with Cadbury mini egg milk chocolate eggs, this cake is so soft and tender and it's so delicious. We are also making a Swiss meringue buttercream and we're going to top it with a mini chocolate egg cranberries, and they are so delicious. And of course, we're going to add some peeps in there for decor. This is a perfect Easter cake. I think it's perfect for parties. You can cut them up and put them in gift boxes. Let's get started. So for the cake, I'm going to grab a bowl. I'm going to add AP flour and I'm adding the salt, and now I'm going to add the baking powder and the baking soda, and I'm going to give all of this a really good whisk. And now I'm ready to add my sugar. And once I add my sugar, I'm going to give everything a whisk again. And once everything is incorporated, I'm going to set that to the side and I'm going to get started on my wet ingredients. In a bowl, you are going to crack 2 eggs and you're going to add your oil. You are going to add your almond extract and sour cream, your vanilla extract, and your lemon juice. And you're going to give this a really good whisk until everything is combined. And now we're going to add our dry ingredients and we're just going to whisk until combined. You know, you don't want to over mix once you add your dry ingredients. So now we're going to add our egg chocolates, and they're already crushed up, so I crushed them up. And we're just gonna switch from a whisk to a spatula, and I'm gonna fold this in. So I have a regular 9x13 cake pan, and I'm gonna get a parchment. I'm gonna spray it down. I'm gonna place my parchment on it, and I want the flaps to kind of hang, and this is going to help me when I lift the cake up. And now I'm ready to add my cake batter. My oven is already preheated at 350 degrees. So now I'm just going to pour my cake batter here, and I'm going to try and smooth it out as best as possible using my offset spatula. I'm just going to gently tap it a couple of times and it's ready to go in the oven. So in it goes, 350 for 30 minutes. My cake is all ready and baked up. It smells so yummy. I'm gonna let it cool for 5 minutes in the cake pan, and then I'm gonna pull it out and transfer it to a cooling rack so it fully cools down. And now we're gonna get started with our Swiss meringue buttercream. So in a glass bowl, pour your egg whites in there and then add your sugar, and you're gonna give this a good whisk until you don't see any sugar clumps or egg white striations. Everything's fully combined, and I already have a small saucepan that is about a quarter of the way filled with water, and I brought it to its simmer. And now I'm just gonna add my egg mixture over it, and I'm gonna keep cooking it on a simmer. And I'm gonna cook this until it reaches 165 degrees. And I'm just gonna keep stirring continuously. And I'm using a thermometer. And if you do not have a thermometer, that is fine. Just get a clean finger, stick it in the mixture, and rub it in between your index and your thumb. And if you don't feel any sugar granules, then the mixture is ready to go. But if you have a thermometer, I highly recommend for you to use one, because sometimes the sugars dissolve, but it hasn't reached the 165. So our egg mixture is there. It is at 165 degrees. And now I'm going to turn off the heat And I'm going to pour this into a clean stand mixer. And I'm going to use a whip attachment for this. And I'm going to set it at high speed for until the bowl fully cools. So this is dependent on your bowl. I have a 6-quart mixer, so it will cool down quicker. But if you have the smaller one, it might take a little bit of more time because there's not enough space to cool it down. So, once you feel the outside of the bowl and the bowl is coming up pretty, like, not warm, it's kind of tepid, or room temperature, then your mixture is ready for the room temperature butter. So we are whipping this up until it hits medium stiff peaks. So it's not quite high peaks. You want it sort of like this. You also don't want the bowl to be hot or the meringue to be hot. It shouldn't once it gets to this temperature, but like gauge on both things. And if you're there, then you're ready to add your butter. So I know a lot of YouTubers and a lot of people tell you, oh, you're going to add your butter a little bit at a time. And I'm a pastry chef. I've been doing this for over 15 years. I started when I was 18 and I'm up there in my 30s. So trust and believe me when I tell you, as long as your butter is room temperature, and I stress to you, room temperature where there's no lumps or anything like that, then you can throw all your butter in at the same time. This is such a small portion that it could withhold all of that room temperature butter, and it's absolutely going to be fine. Now, if it gets runny, a lot of the times, the reason why it gets really soft, that's because, the ratio of butter to meringue isn't quite there yet. So for this small purpose, it's fine to add all of your butter. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. And you guys are going to see that everything's going to be okay. And you don't have to sit there and stand and like cut 2 tablespoons at a time. So add all of your butter in there, and you're just mixing this on medium speed just so that butter doesn't fly everywhere. And once you get all the butter incorporated, you could crank it up to high and you'll see it is easy peasy. So once I get it into this texture, there's a bunch of air in there and there'll be a lot of air pockets, and I don't want those. But if you want to like leave it at this, it's perfectly fine to whip up, but I'm going the extra mile. And I'm going to switch from the whisk to the paddle because I want to work out those lumps. So now I'm going to put the speed up to low speed, and I'm going to mix this for about 7 minutes. And this is the texture that I get. So it looks gorgeous. I'm going to set this to the side and I'm going to get started on the cake. So my cake is fully cooled, and I'm going to cut the edges of this cake just so that all of the goodies are kind of showing through. You get these pockets of chocolate in between. So I'm using a serrated knife and I'm just going to cut all the edges up. We are going to start putting the buttercream on pastry bags. So my vanilla regular white, I'm just adding with in a pastry bag with a 0 tip, and I'll list the tips on the bottom of the description. And then we'll get started with the yellow, and I am mixing 2 types of yellow, and I really want all the colors to be pastel, so I'm going to add a little bit more this, and I got to this beautiful pastel color, and now I'm going to add it to a star tip, and then I'll get started on my next color. So I'm going to add another small amount, and try to divide the buttercream into like 4 portions, or eyeball it as best as you can. So I'm adding blue, and I'm gonna stir this around, and I kind of want also pastel blue, and this looks beautiful, so I'm gonna add it to another different type of star tip, and we are gonna move on to our last color, which is pink. So same, I'm adding small amount of buttercream. I'm gonna add pink, and then I'm gonna give this a really good whisk and or a really good stir, I'm sorry, until it gets to this beautiful color, and I'm gonna put it in another star tip, and we are ready to start piping. There's no right or wrong way to do this. You kind of want to start off with your kind of big rosettes in like different areas. So if I'm going to do yellow on one corner, I'm going to try to do blue in another, and then I can do another color. And then you want to do like smaller things next to it, and you kind of just want to create, you know, different like eye-popping moments. It's fine to add, you know, 2 different colors next to each other. You kind of just want it to really be like organic, and try not to think about it too much. You know, have a little fun with this. And I think it's really nice because you know, everyone can do a rosette, and it's not so complicated to like make sure your edges are clean. I think this is something that we can all have fun doing, and you know, you let your creative juices sort of flow. I'm doing these like little star where I just squeeze and pull, and then I'm going to do these like little rosettes. So you can switch up your rosettes, you can switch up how you're doing it. There's no right way. You can do some big, you can do some little, just have really fun with it. And the white one, it just looks good to do little circles. So with the pink and the yellow, you could do rosettes, you can do little, you just push and like lift, and it creates like a little star effect. So I'm filling up my whole sheet cake until there's no room, and I should have enough buttercream for all of this. You'll have plenty of buttercream. And now I'm going to go in with my nonpareils, and I'm just gonna put some sprinkles just all throughout, and I can drop in my little mini chocolate Cadburys, and they look, this cake is looking so cute. It's so simple, it's super easy to like make, and it just looks like, you know, gourmet, and like you paid a bunch of money for this. So I'm just gonna add, you don't want to add too much. So a lot of this is like kind of forcing yourself to stop, and like less is more. And now I'm adding a couple of little birdies and some bunnies, and this cake is so gorgeous. I just love it, and let's cut into it. And the great thing is that you can feed as many people as you want. You just cut smaller pieces, you can cut bigger pieces. I mean, such a great cake. And let's stop and take a look at our work of art, our little masterpiece. She is gorgeous. Like, she is beautiful. What a great like Easter party treat. I mean, taking this to an Easter party, everyone's gonna be like, that is so pretty. And I hope you guys enjoy making it. I had so much fun making this. I know you guys will have fun too. And let's bite into it, right? Let's taste it. Let's see if it's tastes as good as it looks. And guys, what a moist cake. It's super moist. I love all these little chocolate little bites into it. It's light and fluffy, and the Swiss meringue buttercream just melts in your mouth. It's so soft. It's definitely not those like thick harsh buttercream, and I love all the like little candy kind of bursts that you get from the cake or from the frosting up on the top. This is such a wonderful cake. I hope you guys enjoy making the cake and love the way it tastes. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I will see you guys next time.